Doesn't that seem a little blurry to you guys? A little blurry to be honest with you. It actually looks pretty in focus. Leave that alone. Okay, eyes. You guys can see my big schnoz. It's kind of crazy that I can get my nose. A couple of things about today. The audio should sound really good. Actually, it might be a little bit loud. Hold on. It should be close to being perfect though. I think 10, and let's just leave it alone for the compressor. Okay. Somebody said hello again, and I'll say hello back. Okay, so what are we gonna do today? First, what is this? Just dark clay, huh? Do I not even have a bag of anything? Yeah, I guess I don't have a bag of it. Is that really it? It's just this stuff? Yes, it is. I think there's gotta be another little bag, but I can't seem to find it right now. Some of this stuff is pretty stiff, so let's just see what we can do. You guys can kind of see what my hands are doing here, right? This stuff is really stiff, so... And we'll probably just grab this here. Or cut this in half. So you can see I got the two things. I streamlined the head camera, so that's why we're doing the head camera today. I don't know if that's what you guys are talking about. I see you in my dreams, bro? Really? That's kind of cool. Very seldom do I have dreams that I have people that I know in it. They're not really saying anything. I don't know, do people talk in your dream? I hear them, but not their voice. Like, I just hear them, their person. This will be the topper. Alright, camera A, icon. Gimbal, close in, zoomed in a little bit more. Gimbal, eyes, zoom. Camera A. Alright, hold on. Let's do something cool with this actually. Bring this up. I'm gonna make a little lid, like a baby lid. I need my sponge. There. Well, before we keep cruising away here, I'm gonna do what I wanted to do earlier here. Is I think it's a little bit far away, right? Let's just boost this up, drop this down, right? Why not? I think that looks good. Okay. Now I just wish the top camera could be zoomed in more, right? Or do you think that's okay? Like seeing everything and seeing me narrate maybe would be good. This is kind of like a test, to be honest. This is a test stream, but it's also kind of a, not a test. Both the real thing and not the real thing. Alright, so these are like little trophies I'm making. Use this one. Actually, this one could probably be pretty good here too. That's my little guy. Set him over here. We're gonna keep on cruising. The thing that should die first is the head camera. Everything else should be good. I think I could, let me feel how hot this is getting. The head camera seems like it's warm. I don't know if it's gonna keep on getting warmer. I think it should be getting pretty close here. A little bit wider. Set them down in there. Pretty thin here. I was going a little bit too wide. Wanting to buckle there. So we gotta finish this pot up. And these are gonna be like trophies, I think. At least that's the idea. I wish I had my my other knife, wooden knife. It's like a legendary tool that I don't have with me right now. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's usually like the most useless tool, but this time it's not a useless tool. So imagine a world where I have green pants and then you could still see the background here. It's a world I want to live in, but I think it's just not possible here. These are going to be the trophies. Okay. Just thinking about what we want to do next. I think this arrangement of the screen is my favorite. Like, I don't think there's better... That's not true. There's probably is a better way, but I think for right now, I'm really liking what I'm getting from what I got here. That's all we're doing is bring this out, and I'm just slowly pinching this down, slowly bring this out. Gotta make sure, a little bit of water, and slow it down a little bit. Okay, leave it like this. I usually cut this by now, and I leave it alone, but I'm leaving it like this for now, right? And if you guys, you'll come over with me. So when we set this down, leave it just like that. I don't even touch it from this point, right? And so what this is going to allow for us here, if you guys get a closer look, it's going to make it more uniform without actually having to like shape them at all. Like they're shaped together right now. And so it makes it a little bit easier to make things, right? So those are the handles. And now we're going to make a whole another trophy here. Okay. The day goes well. Our little dude. Yum. There. Make the base and then the handle, right? We could do the handle right now too. Let's do another handle then. That's that thing that I just made. That's gonna be a lid, but I know what you mean. does kind of look like a little sake cup. So again, we have another little ring here. And this again, right? You see how I set those down? So that's a good way to make sure they're even. Like the handles are going to be even. So I cut that in half. Does it make sense? It's kind of I'm telling you that it's a cool way to do that. I don't think you'll find many handles like that. They are not perfectly symmetrical. So that's also something to keep in mind. But I think they're quick. They're easy. That's all the things I like. Okay. Yeah, you know what? The rest of this can be the one man's lid is another man's sake cup. That's so funny. Maybe. All right. We'll bring this down. I know you guys are gonna be having a hard time seeing this stuff here, but from all that thrown off the hump, I got a lot of clay that's not actually attached to the wheel head here. So off this top, get ready for the first pull. I'm gonna lower that camera just because I think it's important. So is it? I don't think it's actually that important. Let's just leave it alone. We all think we have things figured out. Then one day, boom, you think you have a cup, but it's actually the lid of a bowling trophy or something. Like mini trophies, which I think is pretty cool. Wish I had a different. Some of my tools don't really work, to be honest. Oh, my nail kind of dug in there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. What's the rib made out of? Wood. But somebody recently told me that they're originally made out of bone, which makes sense why it's called a rib, right? But I don't know if that's really true. You know, it's like one of those things where I think people just say something because it makes sense rather than actually it making sense. We want the calipers here. Perfect. Okay. Cool technique, watch. So if you let water sit on the top of this, you can drip water into this little hole here. So then the water will prevent it from sticking. Bring this back, right? Just a cool little neat trick there if you're trying to do some stuff. So now we'll get I'm gonna get our other lid. You know what, actually, I think we have some, we do have some squills, but none of those squills are good. So we'll just make new ones. I feel like that's also valid. Ooh, very loose. What the heck? Oh, well, this thing just came out a little bit, so it's actually not too bad. Try to get some of the water behind on the bottom here, leaving a leg for the small bulbous pot. For some reason, when you said bulbous, I kept thinking of Bulbasaur, the Pokemon. Okay. And so the nice thing about this is, so watch. So when I take this off, right? I got a lot of the Bulbasaur is not brain rot, dude. Our little guy. So again, 2 handles, 2 pots. Let's make the bases. So we need to make 2 bases. The hump again? I think we do. Just joking. Played Pokemon back in the day. Pokemon could be brain rot. Maybe it's like the act of like when I saw a word and like I saw something that's like related to like pop culture in some way. That makes it brain rot. I can see that. I usually watch on Apple TV. It's hard to chat on that platform. Whoa, that's pretty cool, actually. I got some hair in here, so don't mind. I've met people who get really uncomfortable with hair, right? Like they don't like finding hair, like especially like wet hair. And so if you don't like that, I would say you probably are gonna not like the whole ceramic process. All right, let's bring this up. So I'm feeling the clay ripping on the inside. Like I feel it ripping and tearing. This clay is really stiff, right? So we're gonna bring this back down and up one more time. I would say for this stuff, like you'll kind of know if you're gonna get something good. Like right now, I can feel there's some weird stuff going on this top little bulb of clay here, right? And so we're just gonna go for it and just see how it goes, right? The hair hang up could get hard to get past, certainly. Just slowly walk this up. Also, again, guys, let me know if the audio sounds better. It should sound like I used a compressor to make it so like the voice should be a little bit louder, but not like totally peak out. And then I have something at the bottom that makes it so like when I'm silent, you don't hear anything. Kind of cool. Again, this is going to be the little pedestal or the foot going to the little... Okay, we're actually going to manually twist this one down. Alright. Oh, it's not, I gotta do it the classic way. This is too firm. The very bottom, blur this out. Okay, and this way. See, guys, a little hollow on the top there. So this will become the bottom for one of the vessels. So that's just kind of a fun way to make them the foot for the minis. Right, so again, we're going to do another foot. Your streams are such a vibe. I usually just have them in the background while I study or cook. I used to take ceramics in high school too, so I like to watch and see what I used to do differently. I always wish that my high school had a ceramics department. Pretty cool. I feel like I wish I was a little bit more interactive with my neighbors. Seem like nice people, but usually I'm just a little bit too busy. I had a guy in my neighborhood when I was a kid. He was an older guy, and he probably lived there like a majority of his life or something, right? He had a garden, and I remember after his tomatoes were done and he picked all of them or whatever, he would drop off tons and tons of tomatoes to my mom as a kid. Just kind of cool. I feel like I'd like to be one of those guys. We're going out first, and we're in and up. And all right, go. Okay. So again, I kind of want to do this manually. If you do it manually, you can kind of get a really nice twist where you want it to be, right? Alright, so this last little bit, I'm going to make the squiggles, and then we're going to call it a stream. We have been streaming for 46 minutes, and guess what, guys? The head camera is still rocking. You know, that's pretty huge. I would like and prefer if we could get it to at least an hour and 30 of head camera action. If we could get to an hour 30 of head camera, I think my setup is just about perfect. I have a couple of hiccups that I ran in today, but they really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think I need to make changes anyway. And the last thing we want to do, we're gonna make some more of the action here. A bunch of these little gimbal eyes. See, I have a bunch of these little, call them squiggles. Somebody, I lost my grandpa. I was really close to in 2009 when I was 25. He was 87, but we were joined at the hip. Time I could talk. Wow. You know, I didn't grow up around either of my sides of the family. I was kind of that type of family where you're in a different location than your family on both sides, so I was never really around family that often when I was a kid. So it sounds like you were around your grandpa really often, even when you were younger. I always thought that, you know, and I'm curious on how you feel about it, right? But when people in my family have passed, I think that they kind of still live through you. Obviously your genetics and stuff, right? But the way you talk, the way you form a sentence, the way, you know, your family has had some level of impact on that, on the way you navigate a space. And so I always thought that being yourself is sort of a way of like honoring them, right? Because they quite literally made up little bits and parts of you, and you carry them with you. But maybe that's a little bit too, here, hold on. Gimbal eyes. It's a little bit too much deep talk. Round this off here. I'm gonna split this. So watch. You're gonna split that. A little bit of water in between. Get ready. Again, we got little squiggles cruising on here. Make some flat. We're fortunate to live only a few minutes away from the grandparents my whole life. I agree with you 100%. When you spend a lot of time with a family member. Totally. One of my students, I have a lot of older students. I mean, he always cooks, right? He always cooks meals for class, and they have like a big potluck at the end of the class sometimes, right? And he always cooks like the best things, like some like beef rib falling off the bone, like barbecue apple cider jam, elderberry, currant jelly, whatever, you know, just anything that makes it sound like a grandma would cook it. Right? That's what this guy makes. And he was telling me that he really spent a lot of time with his grandma when he was younger. And I thought that was kind of cool. And so he spent a lot of time eating her food. And then as he was getting in high school and stuff, he decided he wanted to learn how to make her apple pie. He learned, but he said that he could never get the crust right. And so that's when he started to ask his grandma about the crust. Like, how do I make this crust right? And she said and told him, like, let me watch you and we'll do it from start to finish. And the thing that was his problem is that he was taking the dough for the crust, and he was wedging it and kneading it too much. Right? And so that's why his dough would always kind of be crumble. He was trying to get it perfectly the right shape rather than just getting it done without drawing more moisture out of the dough, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. You pick up so many things from them. My grandpa used to tell me stories about World War II all the time, really significant stories, and I can still tell them, but I'm the only person left who knows them. Yeah, I feel like you're like the arbiter of your own little personal history of your family, right? I think that's the one thing that I think is really awesome about being born in today's age is you can now, from here on out, you can record things, right? So you might have not have gotten him telling the story, right? you can still tell the story and record yourself saying it so somebody else could enjoy the story that you enjoy. You learn to cook the same way by watching your mom and grandmother. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? Kind of like this one is like a scallop. So this is actually a cool way. Some people will make cylinders like this, right? So instead of like pulling this wall all the way out, right? And then up. Watch, if I hook my finger, get a little bit of water underneath here, I can use my finger, drag it along the bottom, and you see how it automatically opens this up? Be like a little hooked entrance for me to just lift up afterwards, right? This is the same thing, but you kind of skip out on a move, having to reset your hand. So another little efficiency thing. Oh, being a little bit too greedy there. Okay, let's see what we're gonna get out of this one. I don't think I'll use this for anything, to be honest. It's just the last one. It's pretty big though, so maybe it can be like handles for something. I could cut it up. That one, so what happened there is actually, when I use this to clean up the bottom, I probably went a little bit too far. And that clay is also harder, right? So instead of wanting to buckle, it actually just rips off the bat itself, right? So that's what was going on there. We got some stuff cruised along here, guys. I'm gonna call it for today, just because you know, I think it's a good time to call it, to be honest. Okay, we should be good right now. Gimbal, eyes, so you guys can kind of see. So what are we gonna do today? We're gonna finish these guys, and then we wanted to do some of this stuff down here. Eyes. There, I like this a little bit better. Let me know if you guys agree. Okay. But we got, oh, I just kind of pressed way too hard on there. Well, we got these right here, and so I'm pretty excited about that. We're gonna be doing this stuff in here. We're gonna be combining those. The first thing we're gonna do is put these together here. Camera A, right? I think this is good. Eyes. Alrighty. I would say, how are we gonna do this? This is kind of not soft anymore. So part of me is thinking, do we want to do it how we did the other ones, like the other trophies, or do we just want to squish? I think we're going to do it like how we were doing the other ones. I kind of liked that process of it, right? Frick, where's my, I guess we use this. We don't want to go too crazy with the water here. I didn't mean squish the spire, I mean pull the skirt out for the object here. Oh, I almost just slipped on a wire tool. What the heck? There we go. Oh, that worked. This was the easiest one I've done of that whole process. Usually that little bit is actually way harder, so I must have got it at like the perfect wetness. Yeah, I think it improves the stream quite a bit. It's like I always say there, as soon as you stop changing, that's when the thing dies. So sorry, it's gonna have to be like that. Alright. And then we had our first piece here. Alright. I'm gonna try to put this right here. And I actually kind of want to flare this out. My coworker just recently said that my handles never look like they're growing from the vessel. And I know he didn't mean it as like an insult, right? Because, I mean, he really was confused about how I do my handles. Like, he was like genuinely curious why I do the handles like that. And I was like, what? What's wrong with the way I do handles? But I was telling him, like, for me, handles are just like, I feel like they use them more as like a symbol than actual like trying to have them be like functional. It's weird how much pottery people are thinking about the function of an object when I'm not even really thinking about the function of these handles. Oh, dude, that's what I'm talking about. I really like the way this looks so loosey. Okay. I caught it. I don't know if we like this one though. It's a little bit too big. I think this is the one. Unless I like one of these smaller ones a little bit more. Oh, shoot. We do like these smaller ones more. Alright. That's a vibe. Even though I have the new bottom camera here, or aiming towards it, you can't see the top right now. So what I think I should do is 2 formats. So like zoom it in just a little bit, so lose some of the quality of the camera. Man, I really like this. I think this is pretty. Okay. We'll brush it all up now. Getting the handles kind of brushed up there. So this is number 1. So zoom. Zoom. See, what is that? What is that? That's pissing me off. Whatever this is, it's making me really angry. It's a little squatty. That's the one thing about doing the twist, is it's hard to do the twist where it's not like thin. But again, these are gifts, so they don't have to be perfect. But there's number 1, guys. I like it. Yeah, glaze smooths it a little bit. That is true. I'd use the shaping tool for clave carving. Wait, what shaping tool? Did I have one, or are you just saying just like a carving tool? If you get rid of all those sharp edges and you use the glaze like high clay content glaze, you can really smooth some things out. But I'm not too worried about smoothing things out, usually. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. So here we go. Maybe, but you can't open them. I'm sealing the lids on them, so they're unusable objects. And when I was throwing it, so I'm trying to rehydrate it, but it's also not perfectly even. This twist made it a little bit less even on the top there. And so when I'm trying to squeeze it the same thickness, right, when my space between my fingers is the same, then that lump that's a little bit thicker is hitting it all at once, and that's what's causing that little tension. So if it's not stuck and it can't overcome that, then it's just going to want to move and run. Okay. Camera A. Alrighty. And bring this out to the edge here. I think I got to bring it out even a little bit more. And let's bring this down this time, because I already know it's going to be close to the edge there. So let's see. Putting this edge up here. So something about this one is I could have done a little bit of a better job taking some of the weight off the bottom of this one, right? The first one, I think, that we just did earlier, that one was pretty much cruising, right? You can see that one, even though it's sealed, do you see how there's no bump of air here? That's all that means to me, is this is too thick, right? Because this is a sealed object. As it's shrinking and drying, before it gets totally dry, this should be popping up because the air's getting compressed in it, right? So you can even just tell by the form not moving that it's a little bit thicker on the bottom here. So that's a little disappointing. All right. Oh no! You guys see what's happening? This side is ripping. It's too thin. We can try to keep it propped up while we're working on it, though. Maybe we can just remove these later. Wait, what'd you say? Kinda, the low view is behind the chat? The low view is behind the chat. The low view is behind the chat? I don't even know what you mean. Sorry. Oh, you can see where that rip is. Is that what you mean? Anyway. Oh, we got one more here. I think it's like, we got these two. Yeah, you're right about that. Shoot. I don't want to put it on the top, though. Now, right now, it's not doing too much. I'll figure something out eventually. Alright, dip this in here. I'll actually do this in a little bit. Yeah. This one's pretty much done. I'm going to brush this one up now. Like, for me, it's always just about the object, right? all the stream and everything here is just like to highlight the process of making the object. And so when you start focusing a lot on the surroundings, I feel like it's becoming more and more less about hyping up the object. What is going on here? It's literally just too thin there, I think. You can see what we're doing up here. We're just trying to squish it. Okay, well this one's done. So we'll set this one down. Zoom. This is number 2, guys. I like this one. You know, if I'm gonna say some things about this one, I think that this one is way better for the twist, first of all. I think that the flower pattern, even though my hand kind of touched that little skirt of the vessel, it's a little bit better than the other one as well. It's a shame that it got a little bit thin on the bottom, so it started collapsing. I tried my best to mask it. I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. I like the handles a little bit more on this one, and I don't know. I actually think I like the topper on the other one. I'll bring the other one back over so you guys can see. Okay, so the topper on the other one I think is a little bit more whimsical and wispy. You can see the handles on this new one, on the one in the middle. I like just the handles better. I just think they look a little bit more like frilly and elegant. Where the other one, they kind of look like pasted on there. Again, I mean, look at the bottom skirt on both of them. The skirt, I guess it's kind of in the middle now, but it's like that. It's like this part here, right? That part there is just so much better on the one in the middle than the other one. And that's just because it was just too close. I couldn't bring it out, right? So a little bit unfortunate there again. But I even think I kind of like the form on the one on the outside more than just the rounded shape on the inside. But anyway, that's the 2 for today. So we're gonna put these to the side now. Sure. Camera B, I think they'll be good to have me. Eyes, wheel, desk. Yeah, we'll do this. Okay, set you guys over there. Parts, I think we can use like a couple of these pieces too for something else. So where's the lid? The lid. The lid. The lid. The lid. I think that's it, guys. We did our 3 jars, and then we'll go from there. But thank you guys so much for watching. All the best. Strong mentality.